and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History,
Historical Calendar,
and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the description, the underbar below. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander.
and me.
And today is Freya's Day, also known as Friday, May 13th, 2022. You start us off, sir.
At 1373, Julian of Norwich had visions of Jesus while suffering from a life-threatening illness, visions which are later described and interpreted in her book, Revelations of Divine Love. Yeah, that don't sound like some shit. Sound like Jesus was doing things he shouldn't be doing.
It sounds like she was hallucinating, maybe, you know.
And all of a sudden, Jesus had my legs in the air.
Oh no. Oh no. Let's not go down that road, please. We do have Christian viewers.
I'm about to end. Jesus like, damn girl, you stink. Okay.
Jewel Chicky, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
I am sorry. I'm going to hell.
Next article?
1501, Americo Vespucci, this time under Portuguese flag, set sail for the Western lands.
Ah, nice.
And 1568, Mary Queen of Scots is defeated at the Battle of Landslide, part of the civil war between Queen Mary and the supporters of her son James the Sixth.
Yep. Moving on up into 1612, a sword duel between Miyamoto Musashi and Sasaki Kojiro on the shores of Ganryu Island occurred, seeing Kojiro dying at the end.
Oh, I could have told you that. Miyamoto was undefeated.
Oh.
Yeah, he had an undefeated streak.
Dang.
Also, 1690. Oh no, you continue. It's yours. Yeah, still yours.
Oh, like the first thing I was thinking of with a sword duel was that one scene from that Japanese movie where the warriors are like dancing on a lake, you know, attacking each other and such.
Okay.
In 1619, Dutch statesman Johan van Oldenbarnevelt was executed in The Hague after being convicted of treason. And 1654, a Venetian fleet under Admiral Kort Adler broke through a line of galleys and defeated the Turkish navy. Whoa.
Nice. Also, 1779, War of the Bavarian Succession. Russian and French mediators at the Congress of Teschen negotiate the end of the war. In agreement, Austria received the part of its territory that was taken from it in terms of the interbellies. Okay. Shit. Okay. Russia's being a mediator. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, what was Comrade Stalin think? I am disappointed with you, children.
Yeah. Are we doing 3 for 3 or are we doing every other now again?
We can do 3 to 3.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, the next two are yours.
Okay. Also, in 1780, the Cumberland Compact is signed by leaders of the settlers of the Cumberland River area of what would become the U.S. state of Tennessee, providing for democratic government and formal system of justice. Wow, that is not good together.
Why is that not good?
The word democratic.
Well, the word democratic is not the same thing as the Democratic Party. Like, there's democracy and then there's lunacy. So, you have another one here.
And also, 1804, forces set by Yusuf Karamali Tripoli to retake Derna from the American attack. From the American attack the city. Okay.
Huh. What were we doing over there at that time? That's odd. We were barely even a nation. 1830, Ecuador gained its independence from Gran Colombia.
Okay.
16 years later, in 1846, during the American-Mexican War, the United States declared war on the Federal Republic of Mexico following a dispute over the American annexation of the Republic of Texas and a Mexican military incursion. And 1861, during the American Civil War, Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom issued a proclamation of neutrality, which recognized the Confederacy as having belligerent rights. You know, they didn't have rights, so...
Belligerent? Okay.
Yeah.
1861, Pakistan, then part of British India, first railway line opens from Karachi to Kochi.
Nice.
And in also 1861, the Great Comet of 1861 discovered by John Tebbutt of Windsor, New South Wales, Australia.
Interesting. 3 articles in 1861. That's not normal.
No. Also, 1862, the U.S. planter, a steamer and gunship sailed through Confederate lines and is passed to the Union by Southern slave Robert Smalls, who later was officially appointed as captain, some of the first black man to command a United States ship.
Yeah, this guy, like he worked on this ship with the Confederates. Like, he was obviously a slave. But then one day he decided him and his crewmates are just going to take the ship and go to the Union, and they did. And it's incredible.
Yo, man, let's do this, bitch.
Yeah, dude, it's a story very much like that. Those prisoners who stole the prison warden's airplane. Like, it's something out of Hollywood. It's crazy.
Hey, I'll be right back. I need the bathroom.
All right, have a blast. I'm going to take us about to 1888, which was 134 years ago for anyone interested. With the passage of the Lei Arreira, the Golden Law, the Empire of Brazil abolished slavery. Good. Moving on up into 1912, the Royal Flying Corps, the forerunner of the Royal Air Force, was established in the United Kingdom. Just in time for World War I. In 1917, 3 children reported the first apparition of Our Lady of Fatima in Fatima, Portugal. 1940, during World War II, Germany's conquest of France began as the German army crossed the Meuse. Winston Churchill made his blood, toil, tears, and sweat speech to the House of Commons. 1 year later, in 1941, are you back? Nope. During World War II, Yugoslav Royal Colonel Dragoljub Mihailovic started fighting against German occupation troops, beginning the Serbian resistance. 2 years later, in 1943, also during World War II, Operations Vulcan and Strike Force, the surrender of the last Axis troops in Tunisia. Yeah, we were talking about the Tunisia campaign yesterday when, what was it, France? Yeah, France acquired it, or something. 5 years later, in 1948, during the Arab-Israel War, the Kfar Etzion massacre occurred a day prior to the Israeli Declaration of Independence. How many people died during that massacre, though? Because massacres, sometimes they're 5 people, sometimes they're 5,000. Let's see here. Why is it not telling me? Deaths, 129. I'm going to have this in the underbar as well. Give me a second. Posting it. Killing time, so that way Sohan will get here. 2 years later, in 1950, the inaugural Formula One World Championship race took place at Silverstone Circuit. This race was won by Giuseppe Farina, who would go on to become the inaugural champion that year. Interesting. Didn't we talk about an inaugural champion the other day? Something like that. Fifth, in 1951, the 400th anniversary of the founding of the National University of San Marcos was commemorated by an opening of the first large-capacity stadium in Peru. Cool. 3 years later, in 1954, the anti-national service riots by Chinese middle school students in Singapore took place. 4 years later, in 1958, Ben Carlin became the first and only person to circumnavigate the world by amphibious vehicle, having traveled over 17,000 kilometers, or 11,000 miles, by sea, and 62,000 kilometers, or 39,000 miles, by land, during a 10-year journey. Interesting. I always wondered, if anybody's ever done that, and that's something I'd like to do one day too. That's really cool, Also in 1958, May 1958 crisis, a group of French military officers led a coup in Algiers, demanding that a government of national unity be formed with Charles de Gaulle at its head in order to defend French control of Algeria. Why not I will say Allegra? Anybody remember Allegra? That weird cartoon. We have another article in 1958 here. During a visit to Caracas in Venezuela, Vice President Richard Nixon's car was attacked by anti-U.S. demonstrators. Dang. Are you back yet? I keep seeing your thing flash. 5, 4, 3, nope. Alright, well I'm going to take us up into 1960. Hundreds of University of California, Berkeley students congregate for the first day of protest against the visit by the House Committee on Un-American Activities. 7 years later, in 1967, Dr. Zakir Hussain became the third president of India. He was the first Muslim president of the Indian Union, and he held this position until August 24th of 1969. Alright, so just a little over 2 years, okay. Speaking of 1969, in 1969 on this date, which is May 13th, the May 13th incident involving sectarian violence in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I thought I heard a Sohan. I keep getting tricked out because this mic keeps cutting up. I'm going to take us up into 1971, in which over 900 unarmed Bengali Hindus were murdered in the Damra massacre. Oh, man. That's just terrible. 365 days later, in 1972, during the Troubles, a car bombing outside a crowded pub in Belfast sparked a 2-day gun battle involving the Provisional IRA, the Irish Republican Army, Ulster Volunteer Force, and the British Army. 7 people ended up dead, and over 66 were injured. Jeez. 1972 as well, a fire occurred in the Senichi department store in Osaka, Japan. Blocked exits and non-functional elevators resulted in 118 fatalities, many victims leaping to their deaths. Yep. We'd rather go splat than slowly burn, 1980, an F3 tornado hit Kalamazoo County, Michigan. President Jimmy Carter declared it a federal disaster area. For such a small tornado. Okay. 5 years later, in 1985, police bombed MOVE headquarters in Philadelphia, killing 6 adults and 5 children and destroying the homes of 250 city residents. Okay, what is MOVE? MOVE, 1985. Let me look this up real quick. 1985. MOVE bombing. What does it stand for, though? Let's see. Target. MOVE members. Okay, here we go. It's a Christian movement for life. Alright. Oh. This article is part of a series of Black Power. Okay, of course BLM. Okay, whatever. I'm still going to add this in the underbar here for anyone interested. Let's see here. In 1989, large groups of students occupied Tiananmen Square and began a hunger strike. Allegedly. According to China, that never happened, but it did, so. Yeah. In 1990, the Dinamo Red Star riot took place at Maksimir Stadium in Zagreb, Croatia, between the Bad Blue Boys, fans of the Dinamo Zagreb, and the Deligi, fans of the Red Star Belgrade. It's not just the States who view sports as religion, or England, bloody soccer hooligans. Moving on up 2 years, in 1992, Li Hongzhi gave the first public lecture on Falun Gong in Shansheng People's Republic of China. Yeah, these practitioners are one of the many different types of people that are being exterminated in China. You know, the Tibetans, Falun Gong, the Uyghurs, you know, round eyes. You know, anybody who's not Chinese, you know, is their future does not look good in China. 1995, Alison Hargreaves, a 33-year-old British mother, became the first woman to conquer Everest without oxygen or the help of Sherpas. Well, that's really stupid. You know, like, yeah, whoopee, but you're a mother. You know, have some responsibility. You know, think of others before yourself, Allison. 1 year later, in 1996, severe thunderstorms and a tornado in Bangladesh killed 600 people. Dang. 2 years later, in 1997, race riots broke out in Jakarta, Indonesia, where shops owned by Indonesians of Chinese descent are looted and women were violated in a way that, yeah, it's not really fun to repeat. Also in 1998, India carried out 2 nuclear weapon tests at Pokhran following the 3 conducted on May 11th. The United States and Japan imposed economic sanctions on India. Wow.
I've returned.
Welcome back. Did you know we imposed economic sanctions on India?
No, we didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah. I just finished reading this. 1998, India carried out 2 nuclear weapon tests at Pokhran following the 3 conducted on May 11th, just 2 days ago. The United States and Japan imposed economic sanctions on India. Wow.
Okay. Also, 2005, Ardian uprising in Uzbekistan, troops opened fire on crowds of protesters. After a prison break, at least 187 people were killed, according to official estimates.
Jeez.
Yep, 2006, Sao Paulo violence rebellions occurred in several prisons in Brazil.
Wow.
Oh, yep. Also, 2011, 2 bombs explode in the Dar district of Pakistan, killing 98 people and wounding 140 others.
Jeez, man. So much violence.
I know. 2012, 49 dismembered bodies are discovered by Mexican authorities on Mexican Federal Highway 40.
That sounds
Holy
like a
shit.
cartel activity right there.
That is cartel.
Yeah.
Also, 2013, American physician Kermit Gosnell is found guilty in Pennsylvania of murdering 3 infants born alive during attempted abortions, involuntary manslaughter of a woman during an abortion procedure, and other charges.
Damn. Man, this guy's the poster child for the liberals. Tell you what. Let me take this last article. Finish this up here.
Also, 2014, an explosion in an underground coal mine in southwest Turkey killed 301 miners.
Did you have any articles that weren't horrible? Like, everything you just read are awful things. Damn, dude. Man. Any articles grab your attention, you know, today?
And 2014 to 2005.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much everything you just read, yeah. Well, like, that economic sanction against India, you know, from not just us, but Japan, that was interesting to me, personally. And, of course, that guy, you know, with the abortion stuff, that was disturbing. Oh, yeah, also in 1989, large groups of students occupied Tiananmen Square and began a hunger strike. So, and there's a lot more stuff. So, let's go on into bursts here. Why don't you start us off?
Okay. And 1024, Hugo Cluny, Prince Albert and Saint.
1221, Alexander Nevsky, Russian prince and saint.
1588, Old Worm. Danish physician and historian, Old Worm.
Old Worm, what a name. Old Worm. Is that his real name?
1599, Sebastian Jose de Carvalho de Mello, first Marquis of Pombal. Portuguese politician who was the first Prime Minister of Portugal.
Nice. Yeah, Old Worm was his actual name, who often went by the Latinized form of his name, Olaus Wormius. Interesting.
1712, Count Johann Hardwig S. Ernest von Bernstorff, Danish politician and diplomat.
Ah.
That's your turn.
1717, Maria Theresa, an archduchess, queen, and empress who was the Austrian wife of Francis I, Holy Roman Emperor. 1804, Per Gustav Svinhufvud af Kvalstad, what's with these people's names, was a Swedo-Finnish treasurer of Tavastia province, manor host, and paternal grandfather of President P.E. Svinhufvud. Where's that old worm guy again? Right here. I gotta add this in real quick. Let's see here. And then 1883, Georgios Papanikolaou was a Greek-American pathologist who invented the pap smear.
Also, 1918, Bela Rosati, Indian dancer and instructor. 1922, Beata, U.S. actress and singer. 1928, Edouard Moliero, French actor and director, producer, and screenwriter.
1931, Jim Jones, a U.S. cult leader who founded the People's Temple. 1937, Trevor Bayliss was born on the States. He is an English inventor of the wind-up radio.
Nice.
1945, Magic Dick, U.S. blues rock, harmonica, trumpet, and saxophone player. That cannot be his real name. Richard Sawitz. So, yes, his real name is Richard Sawitz, also known as the
Magic
Dick. Interesting.
1950, Stevie Wonder, blind U.S. singer, songwriter, and pianist.
And producer.
1951, Rosie Boycott, English journalist and author.
Now, I have to say, I have to interrupt you real quick here. With a last name like that, like I'm just imagining, like you know how authors, they have a picture of themselves and then their name is just a picture and it just says boycott. So it's just like, do we boycott this person? Like, what's going on? Like, no, that's their name. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. 1951, Iran Murdoch, Indian composer and director.
Yeah. 1953, Harm Wiersma, Dutch draws player and politician. What the heck is a draws player? Let me check this out. Draws player. The game of draws is played on a standard chessboard, 64 black and white checkered squares. Each player has 12 pieces, normally in the form of fat round counters. The real shades of the pieces and the board do not necessarily need to be black and white, but they are normally referred to as black and white regardless. Okay, so it's a tabletop game. Okay. Interesting. No, I know those pieces. Okay. 1961, Sibylle Fallon Hogan was a U.S. actress, or probably still is, I don't know. Also in 1961, Dennis Rodman, U.S. basketball player, wrestler, and actor. I had no idea he was a wrestler.
Oh, yes. He was there with Hogan at Bash at the Beach.
Huh. That's interesting.
As his partner. Also, 1962, Nick Hurd, English businessman and politician who was the Minister of Civil Society. 1964, Stephen Colbert, far left libtard, male comedian talk show host.
1960.
Yeah.
No, it's your turn, I think. Yeah.
1964, Buckethead, U.S. guitarist and songwriter.
Yeah, what a name. Buckethead. That can't be his real name, though. Let me check this out.
It's not.
Yeah. Brian Patrick Carroll, known professionally as Buckethead. Alright. 1978, we have German Magarenos, is an Argentinian actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. 1985, Javier Balboa, Spanish Equatoguinean footballer. What the hell is that? Let me look that up real quick. Equatoguinean. I've never heard of that. Is that a country? It is. There's a flag. It's a Spanish thing. Equatoguinean Spanish is the variety of Spanish spoken in Equatorial Guinea. This is the only Spanish variety that holds national official status in sub-Saharan Africa. Okay. Interesting. And last but not least, in 1986, we have Robert Pattinson, is an English actor. Jumping on up into deaths, 189, we have Emperor Ling of Han, a Chinese emperor. 1285, Robert de Ross, first Baron de Ross. And 1619, Johan van Oldenbarnevelt was a Dutch politician.
Cool. In 1835, John Nash, English architect who designed the Royal Pavilion. 1884, Cyrus McCormick, American businessman who co-founded the International Harvest Company. In 1903, Paulino Marbini, Filipino lawyer and politician who was the first prime minister of the Philippines.
I looked up the Royal Pavilion and it looks really cool. It's like some Indian architecture. Looks like it has like those bulbous turrets like on some Soviet architecture. So it looks like a mashup of like Middle Eastern and Eastern architecture and such, with some hints of Western architecture and such. Really cool looking building. Although I'm no professional architecture person guy. Anyway, 1929, Arthur Scherbius died on the States. He was a German electrical engineer who invented the Enigma machine. And that was the coding machine. Damn, 1929, so he was only... Wait a minute. No, he died. Okay. So he died in 1929, and the Enigma machine was used in World War II. So he lived on. 1945, Tubby Hall was a U.S. drummer. And 1961, Gary Cooper was a U.S. actor.
Also, 1992, F.E. McWilliam, Irish sculptor.
And his full name is Frederick Edward McWilliam.
Okay. 1999, Aziz Ibn Baz.
Bless you.
Saudi Arabian coloring academic. In 1999.
You have one more.
In 2005, Eddie Barclay, French recording producer who founded Barclay Records.
Interesting. 2011, Wallace McCain was a Canadian businessman who co-founded McCain Foods. 2013, Joyce Brothers was a U.S. Psychologist, author, and actress.
Yeah, Dr. Joyce Brothers.
2014, we have J.F. Coleman, his full name being James Francis Coleman, nicknamed Skeets, apparently, was a U.S. soldier and pilot. And why don't you take this last one?
2014, Morning Glory Dale Ravenheart, U.S. Occultist and Authority.
It's supposed to be author. My auto-finish thing on my document maker. So, this is an author. And that concludes the show. Once again, check the underbar for reading links that you may be interested in, which also includes...
Sodium TV on Twitch.
And everything Omni Coalition. For your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream every day between 12 noon and 3 p.m. Pacific Time.
2 to 5 Central.
For all of you and all of us, I am Ayo Xander.
Me.
And you are you. And until you see us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Until then, toodles! Let's go, Brandon.